Tom Petty. Big fan of Tom Petty. That song actually came out on my birthday. So it's a theme song. But earlier this week, I got one of my favorite endorsements for the United States Congress, Roseanne Cash. So the Johnny Cash family gave me the endorsement for the United States Congress. And I promised her 31 days from now, I guess, on election night, when we have our victory party. So God bless Tom Petty. We're going to have the Johnny Cash version of I Won't Back Down. So we're really appreciating you all being here. As you know, I go through 16 counties, Bledsoe in the east, and Meigs County, and Ray County, and Bradley County. And in the west, I go all the way to Columbia County, Colioca to Spring City. It's about 230 miles, give or take, east to west across Tennessee. And as we get to this climactic close of this campaign, I'm going to walk across Tennessee. To me, that describes the difference between me and my opponent, Scott Desjardins, who you know because you don't know. It's been over 7 years since Congressman Desjardins has held a town hall with the people of Tennessee. He's scared of us. Those scandals rendered him ineffective to lead, and he never came out of hiding. However, there's an addendum to that. Monday night, as of now, for the first time in 20 years, the Democratic nominee and the Republican nominee are scheduled to have a debate.
Awesome.
So we do not know if he'll back out, but hear me out. This is breaking news. Monday night, there's going to be a thriller. We need some entertainment here in Little Tennessee. Scott Desjardins and Chris Hale are debating at Warren County High School. It'll be on TV, the Ben Logan Network, and Lord knows it'll be on Facebook page live. So maybe he'll back out. But as of now, Congressman Desjardins, because he sees what you see, he sees that something's going on, and he might be a little bit behind. So Congressman Desjardins, finally, it's coming out of hiding. We know on Monday he's agreed to debate. Maybe he'll back out because he's terrified of me. And on Friday, for the first time in years, he's supposedly having a rally in Winchester. Oh, by the way, I'm having a rally in Winchester Friday too, I decided. We're gonna get 10 times the amount of people that Congressman Desjardins gets there. He sees what we're seeing. We're gaining ground, and he's falling behind. We had an internal poll come that we paid for. As you know, I had four Democrats before me who ran really good races. They gave it their all. They gave it their best. They fought hard, but they lost by about 30 points each. Here's the good news I have for you. In 5 months I've run this campaign, we've taken that 30-point margin, and we're in single digits now. We are catching up. We are catching up. We are going forward. And the reason we're going forward is because we're not going alone. We have a United States Senate candidate, our nominee, Marquita Bradshaw. She's here tonight, and we'll hear from her in a little bit. We have Dean Sparks, who's somewhere around here. Democrats are running strong games across this state, and in particularly the reddest of places on earth. Our biggest support margins, our biggest surprises are in red greener. We are competing in Moore County. We're competing in Grundy County, Sequatchie County, here in Bledsoe County. I'm not going to leave any zip code behind. That's how I live my life. That's how I'll govern as your United States Congressman. I think you all know me. You know a little bit about me. I just want to give you a very quick update on where this campaign stands and how you can help me these final 31 days. And then, of course, we'll hear from Dean and then from Marquita as well. So we now have surpassed over 5,000 donors to this campaign. That is the most of any congressional candidate in this state. I outraised Congressman Desjardins by a 5-to-1 margin, but not with the rich and powerful. Congressman Desjardins' donations last quarter, the average was $1,800. Mine was $32. So this campaign has set a record in fundraising, but here's what makes me so excited. I have received a contribution from every state in this country. All 50 states are looking right here at Pikeville, to Bledsoe County, and they're saying two things. Number one, how in God's name is Scott Desjardins your congressman? People ask me that across this country all the time. How in God's name is Scott Desjardins our congressman? And the second thing they say is Tennessee deserves better. And I agree with both. I think the reason that Scott DeGarlay is still our congressman, if I might, is because Democrats are too nice. We are too nice. We bend over and we get beaten up quite a bit. And we don't fight back. I want to be very clear. These next 31 days are going to be a tumble. They're going to be a brawl. They're going to be a fight. But I'm not fighting just to fight. Sometimes when you fight for those you love, you can't afford to fight so lovingly. The stakes are huge in this election. They are huge for our state. They are huge for our country. We know the number one issue. I am one of the only candidates in the United States for federal office. One of the only ones in the United States that signed up to run for office after COVID-19. That is why I decided to get into this race. I could see what was happening in the middle of March, and it spoke to me and said, this is the time because so much is at stake. It is the number one issue in this election. In March, when this thing came, it would be unimaginable to us that here in October, we are still wearing our masks. You know, I pray for the President of the United States. I pray for the 46,000 people that tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 24 hours. I pray for the over 1,000 people that have died in this country over the past 24 hours, including 14 here in Tennessee. But we also must realize it did not have to be this way. The President of the United States did not have to be at Walter Reed Medical Center fighting for his life. We should not still be wearing masks, having social distancing at our football games, etc. Oh, by the way, congratulations. I think it's been 7 years since you all had a big victory. I was just watching the challenge. I would like to think it's because our campaign was there. I really think we brought some good energy to that 35-0 stuff. That's exactly what we're going to do today during late, too. We're going to be like a drum on the third. But the reality of it is the big thing that we have to communicate to our friends. It didn't have to be this way. Our Republican friends are starting to realize that this thing is real. The mass usage, I go all across rural Tennessee 24/7 for the past 6 months. It's increasing because they see the reality. They see the reality. And the fall will only make it all the more blunt to them. But folks, the reality of it is Congressman DeGarlay for 70 days knew this virus was coming to destroy Tennessee lives and livelihoods, and he didn't do a darn thing to stop it. And after the virus came, he did nothing to help us. And so Scott DeGarlay has to tie himself to the President of the United States, who needs our prayers. But the President of the United States has disagreed with Scott DeGarlay on one of the most crucial issues in this election. And this is what I'm going to nail on Monday night in Warren County. March 14th, right as I was getting into this race. The reason I got into this race is there was a bill for the United States Congress, the Pelosi-Trump bill. So just that alone tells you a lot about it. Pelosi-Trump. What does that mean? Everyone agreed on it. Over 93% of the United States Congress said this bill is important. It did 3 things. It gave small business stimulus, became the PPP loan, which saved over 3 dozen businesses right here in Bledsoe County and over 1,200 businesses across the 4th congressional district. It gave a paid sick leave, so you don't have to go to work. If you get sick, your child gets sick, your spouse gets sick with COVID-19 to earn a paycheck. You get paid sick leave. And the third thing it did is it guaranteed rapid result testing for every Tennessean free of charge. Scott DeGarlay was one of a handful, 3 dozen members of the United States Congress to vote no on. Oddly enough, since I have the woman who will take the place of Lamar Alexander, every person who opposed that bill was a man. 3 dozen men opposed that bill. And let me tell you something. This is what you need to tell your Republican friends. That day, the President of the United States, in his infinite wisdom, went to the Twitter machine. But he tweeted something that was absolutely right. He got out his phone, he dumped a bunch of his numbers, and he said, quote, "The men who opposed that bill were third-rate stooges." You know what? I am with President Trump. Scott DeGarlay is a third-rate stooge. We're going to win this election because our support goes wide and far. I have conservatives, I have socialists, I have libertarians, I have capitalists, I have MAGA supporters, I have weed enthusiasts, I have atheists, I have feminists, and I have evangelicals. We are building the biggest and most diverse coalition in the history of the state of Tennessee. I think I got all 4 of those back there, maybe. But I need your help. There's 3 things you can do, and I humbly ask for you to consider doing them tonight. It's like the altar call. It's almost like I have over 5,000 donors to this campaign. The average online donation is about $33. These donations help fuel this movement. We knocked on doors in counties, countless counties. We knocked on tens of thousands of doors in this campaign. We made over 350,000 contacts with Tennessee voters. We have over 600 people who have volunteered this campaign, but it's funded by resources. There is no mission without a margin. So today, I'm asking before you, would someone today raise their hand and say, I will be your 5,001st donor to this campaign? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My staff will be around. It's like church, I told you, the collection plate's coming. You have a square reader, so you can swipe your card. You can make a check to Christopher Hale, Tennessee, or you can do cash. And we really appreciate it. This will be money that we invest in this movement. The second thing, and this is the most important thing, do you like my signs?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. You're not the only one who likes my signs. I want to tell you the story of Joseph. Joseph's a 43-year-old worker at the General Motors plant up in Murray County. You know what that is, like Columbia in Springfield area? Not far from Nashville. Up and coming area of Nashville. Young man, 43 years old. Joseph saw one of my signs outside of his work in Springfield, and he loved the sign. He thought it was great. And so Joseph looked me up, and he's like, I like this guy. He's got a good smile. He's like, he's a good guy. He stands for what I stand for. I like him. And then Joseph, 3 weeks later, goes to church in July, and he starts talking me up to his friends, and then he finds out the worst news in the world. Chris Hale is a Democrat. But what happens is for 3 weeks he liked me. He liked what I stood for. He grew affection for me. He followed me on social media. He saw what we were doing. He said, I like this guy. And so Joseph, 43 years old, for the first time ever, asked himself, who is my congressman? Who's this guy running against? Because Joseph just checked ours. Joseph might as well have been straight down voting. He didn't think about it. Joseph Googled Scott Desjardins for the first time ever, and he found out who his congressman was. Pro-life, Joseph Googled Scott Desjardins. Pro-family, Joseph Googled Scott Desjardins. Pro-Christian values, Joseph Googled Scott Desjardins. And he realized he did not stand with Scott Desjardins, that he stood with Chris Hale. Joseph, a Republican, a lifelong Republican, a God-fearing evangelical, is voting for Chris Hale this November. Tens of thousands of conservative evangelicals, conservative folks of all swaths of life who take their faith seriously are with me. People that think marijuana should be legal are with me. People who are against the abuse of women are with me. Scott Desjardins' entire life is simple. His entire career has been about the abuse of power against Tennessee women, against rural Tennessee women in particular. And rural women are going to lead me forward. But you've got to get me in the door. If I'm a missionary, this is my pamphlet. This is my tract. This is what's going to get people into this movement. Republican voters become Chris Hale voters because of Hale Yes signs. And so what I'm asking for you today is I have now almost nearly 2,000 of these out in the ground or requested. Who will become my 2001st sponsor of the Hale Yes sign today? Who will put one in their yard or somewhere in Pikeville today?
We all have.
Yeah. What you can also do is you can take them and put them where else they need to be put.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Desjardins is okay with signs out here, but not as great as he does in Franklin County. I want the army of Hale Yes signs to overwhelm Congressman Desjardins. Just to give you a sense of this, we have about 2,000 signs in the ground. That's more than Mamie Steffi have in this district. Remember all those signs and some of those orange and white ones? Got it back in that race. We're going to have 10,000 signs in the ground. We are giving them away like candy, but you need to find homes for them. Because what it is a source of persuasion, but it also gives me a fighting chance to actually compare me to my opponent. If people Google Scott Desjardins and they Google Chris Hale, we will win this race. So finally, the third thing, and then I'll give it over to Dean and then Marquita. I need your support in making phone calls and doing texts. I'm looking at the young people right here, the youths, the Zoomers, the millennials of Bledsoe County. I'm looking at y'all in particular. But I'm also looking at the baby boomers and folks as well, because our campaign has a outreach strategy that is open to anyone. There's three things that we're asking you to do. Number one if you do not like phone calls and you're a millennial like me who ignores calls from your mother, but you'll text her back every time, we have a texting operation. So you can sit there right here in Bledsoe County and you can text. We have people that are addicted to texting. They sit there and they watch Netflix and HBO and Hulu and text. We should get better rural internet so it goes better for y'all doing that. But what we need to do is people to text. However, if you want to make phone calls, if you don't like texting, we can make phone calls. We can do it. We can do it through the computer, or we will overnight you a list to do it. And then the third thing we need is we are doing door knocking. We are abiding by all the rules put forth by the federal, state, and local governments. We do it safely. We do it effectively. We do it with masks. We do it in a way that respects the dignity of each and every Tennessean. So, altar call, last one. Will someone commit right now to doing something for this campaign over the next 31 days, volunteering in some capacity in your own skill sets and in ways you can? Anyone? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hannah, you're already doing it. You already,
Yeah.
she already does stuff for you.
Well, I should let me personally say thank you. So,
I've been putting up all the signs.
you guys are doing great.
She puts the signs up for election and then takes them back down and then puts them back up.
You guys are
all
heroes.
around the county.
I feel like I should run against. I'm not gonna run against Tracy Gago, but we're competing with you and Tracy. So we have great signs. We will give you so many more signs. So if you want to come on payroll, if you want to come on payroll, come join us, and you can come work in my Washington office. So or you can be my district director down here in Bledsoe County. We'll reopen the office down here. So folks, that's what I need for you. I promise you that the momentum that you're seeing is real. It's exciting that Congressman Dave Darley finally feels the fire from his feet. Let's see if he shows up Monday night. Maybe he'll get cold feet because I'm going to pack that place.
Did you say it will be on Facebook Live?
It should be on Ben Loman television. I don't know the details of that. If y'all get that out here or not, quite honestly.
No.
So, but it will be on Facebook Live.
Okay.
It will be on Facebook Live. The Channel 9 News has also tried to do. We did a good segment with Channel 9 a couple of days ago, but we're going to try to do it for him as well. And if he doesn't show up, we'll air it anyway. So I want to say this. I am not too concerned with debating Scott Darley. I think that I know that he runs away. My reality is this. I'm going to go everywhere. To me, that's the way we win this election, is to go everywhere. I have been everywhere, and people know that I've been everywhere. People know that Chris Hale's campaign goes to every bar mitzvah, every quinceanera, every first communion, your child's 12th birthday party, we're there. And it's gaining us, folks. It's gaining us momentum. That's why we're going to win this election. So very much thank you to being here. I want to get a chance. Where's Dean Sparks? Dean, I just want you to get a chance to introduce yourself and your campaign, and then we'll have our tweet.
I don't need to do too much introducing myself. I think I've talked to this group here, but I've talked to